State veterinary.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's being October 17th. Is that October 17th today? Yeah. For the ZBA.
Wait, so what's the variance that they're here for?
We do have a quorum noted, and we have on the agenda, we have some old business and we have a new application, but none of the applicants are here. And it's 7:03. You know that if they're coming?
Kyle Borat for the first application is not going to be able to make the meeting.
So we're just going to table that again because...
And the planning, the public hearing is scheduled for next month.
Okay, so we're just going to move on with that to the next meeting. Ken, I have a question for you concerning the next application for 54 Center Street, in that we decided that we were going to table it until he provided us with a survey. How long should we be tabling something like this? Because it seems to me a survey it may take a while. It's up to him, but can we move to keep it open for...
You can keep it indefinitely. If someone's actually doing something, sometimes it can take months. I mean, I've seen other applications where somebody needed to get clearance from the state to do something, and they submitted, the state took 4 or 5 months to get back to them. And you just keep it open. They're not abandoning it, and you can keep,
Well, and to what point are they not abandoning it because we don't know whether he's abandoning it or not. I mean, to me, I think 60 days or a time where you keep checking in. I know we had...
Well, the planning board's done things where they sort of give people a little time. And if after, they just kind of use your judgment. Well, how long should this take? Okay, well, let's say a survey, to get somebody else, it can take a little bit. Maybe next meeting, if he doesn't show up, you'd send him a letter and say, what's the status? We need to hear something. And if you don't respond, they don't have to have it done, but if someone has ignored you continually for a while.
Well, there was an application up on Spring Street with a fence, and he pretty much abandoned the project, but never really said we kept it open, and then we just said, but he never really notified us either.
There's not really, there's nothing in the law really about abandoning or, there should be a real reluctance to dispense with an opening.
I don't want to incur any more time and effort from the staff and from cost to us. I guess it doesn't. He paid his money, so let's just let it go for another
For a little
month.
while, it's like you kind of use your judgment, but in the end, if you have reason to think that they're just what they said they need to do, there was ample time to get it done.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you contact them and say, look, what's going on? Are you coming back or not? If we don't get any written response, or if we don't get a response that says you're still working on this, or there's a reason, we're gonna reject it. So, but people should have the opportunity to do what they need to do, and if they,
Yeah. Well, we told him we were going to table it to this meeting. I didn't expect him to be here or have it, so another month is. Do we make a motion to? Do we?
They don't even have to.
We don't.
It's just-
Okay.
it's-
So
it
we
is-
just
it's
want to
only-
make note. I just want to make note that that application is
Yeah.
remaining open. To who knows when. Is that a technical term? Who knows when? The legal, I don't want to talk legal stuff. Who knows when? All right, so the next application is application 2024-201 for Jack Shear, 16 River Street, Chatham, New York. He needs, he's going to go to the planning board for a special use permit, right? Variance for, and I have to say, I've been reading this over and looking at this, and I really don't quite understand what in the world he what it's here for. I know there's a front yard issue setback, but what Ken was talking about, there's also a parcel.
Well, it
Two
sounds
parcels.
like there's no problem with the structures.
Yes,
So
there's
just
no
hear from the
structure.
But it does say,
applicant.
I mean, it says under parking areas, all off-street outdoor parking shall be located behind or to the side,
Yeah.
at least 6 feet from the side of your lot line in the R, RS, and RC.
But since there's no buildings there and there's no rear lot, I don't understand.
Huh?
I don't know, it's because there's no, it's a parking lot, there's no structure, so there's a rear of the lot, but, let me see. I was hoping that someone would be here to explain what it is that they want to do, but I think that there's also the issue of making these one parcel is,
Well, that may not be, if there's no lot line violation, then they don't have to do that, because that's what they're asking for. I mean, it does say within the C1 and C2 districts only, a maximum of 1 row of parking may be located in front of the principal building or the right zone, but such parking shall be set there. Yeah.
well,
I'm not
since
sure.
the applicant isn't here,
I don't know if you heard me, I heard from him, he is on his way, he got the days mixed up.
Oh, Aaron?
Yeah, he should be here in about 5 minutes.
okay. I also want to make the announcement that the meeting's being taped. I didn't do that since there's nobody here. So just know that you're being taped, and that's going to result in the minutes for the next. So we'll just wait that out. Does anyone have any questions, or?
Well, I had the same question you did. If there's not a building, it doesn't seem as though these things pertain.
My question. Do you understand?
I thought he was putting a building, a
No.
storage.
Well, there's a storage unit, and that was another thing, does that constitute a structure even though it's underneath the parking lot?
Underneath?
It's, that underneath storage area, that constitute, so you're parking on the roof of a structure.
The building's just in the back underneath the retaining
Mill
wall,
Street.
or inside the retaining wall.
On Mill
Backside
Street.
property, 'cause there's
It's a
storage
warehouse, so
property,
it's
so
cool.
they're building like a storage warehouse with access from the Mill Street side. And that
No, the
storage
parking spaces are far
area would
enough
be under.
away where people won't walk to the village anyway.
So I don't know whether that constitutes, or, I know the planning board will probably have a say about that, but
I mean, I wouldn't treat it as a structure if it's not on grade. If it's, if it's access from a different level of, it's a totally different part of the parcel, and it doesn't even appear on the ground. I don't know, I mean, it says all off-street parking shall be located behind or to the side of the principal building. They're saying, what's the
on
bonus?
top.
If they can't do it, if it's on top, I mean, that doesn't mean it's,
Well, I just wanted
yeah.
to bring that up because it's a unique situation there.
So
Well, and that's the thing, and that's, where, that's part of what the zoning board can do here, is like when there's some peculiarity in the zoning code, where like strict adherence to the language of this doesn't make sense or something, that's kind of one of the main purposes of the zoning board, say, well, we're looking at the actual situation here, and just like it says, well, all outdoor parking shall be located behind or to the side. well,
Interesting situation.
it's a, you know, it's a unique lot, or a very rare, unusual lot, where, you know, you actually can, access something from a different side and a different level.
The lot that is where Vance Pipkin's place came down, that was a parking lot already, but I don't know if it, how could that have been a parking lot already? Because that was the Baker's, I can't remember what building was there. We're talking to the left of, right, directly to the right of Kern's house, Lydia
Right.
Kern's. Right to the right, there was this little funky parking lot there.
Yeah,
Then there was a space, and then there was, in Jim Baker's place was beneath, am I even on the right? I'm not even on the right, I'm not even on the right street, I'm sorry.
Baker's
Baker's
on the
is
opposite
on,
side.
Baker's is on,
yeah, what's on the
Baker's
other?
is next to, is next up.
Yeah, but he's on the opposite side.
Okay, yeah, that's not even, so he's gonna create, I haven't been back there, I think he's gonna be creating the space.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, is this where it has the basement of Pitkin's building, or is this something that he's going to bulldoze out himself?
Because it does say there's an existing two-story building here, on the map, right?
Where, which page?
Right here. C2, C1.
I assumed it was underneath the building that was there, it
Yeah,
was
that's
a
what I
basement, and they're just gonna make an access to
Right,
it.
that's what I thought,
That was-
too.
That's not what it is. On C2, there's an existing building on the right, existing two-story, and then on the left, there's that blue hash marks that says proposed underground. So the top left of is the proposed underground, those blue hash marks.
Yeah.
And the building's on the other side of the lot.
Right. But there was a building there that they tore down.
No, not in that area, unless I'm totally, been looking at this forever. Is Tom Kern's place directly to the left of this property?
You've got,
Yeah, can you?
It would be helpful if the owner was here, we can probably answer those, so we'll get those sorted out.
So they took down, I think Baker's is up on Oswald Street.
Yeah, that's
gone.
totally,
But also Tipton's, the
Yeah, but that's-
refinishing, his refinishing business, that building is
Yeah.
also taken down. On River
Pipkin,
Street.
but that's across the street, that's,
I wouldn't treat it.
this is on, this is from Mill Street towards the river, so.
oh, come on, go away.
River Street.
So this is the lot,
Oh,
which is, maybe I can do this. So there's Pipkin's building. This is
Or, well, it is to the side.
wall that's there now. And we're going back.
But that's in the RSRC.
This building
Well,
is here,
that's-
is that this?
Yeah.
Yes, that's that building. Then he's got the parking lot, and he's got this, and
And
so
this is Pipkin's.
Pipkin's is
Oh,
gone.
Kearns is,
Kearns is next to it,
Right.
there's another lot on the
Right.
left side of
Right.
this. There's another little funky parking lot on, to the left that Pipkin's was, and then
So it
there's,
should be,
then there's.
all
Kearns.
behind the side Prince building,
oh, maybe
At
it
least
won't.
10 feet. from the side of your lot.
This one is seeking front and side, and this
Yes, there's Tom Kearns' house.
Right.
So there's a little
That's the
funky
side of the
parking lot.
lot, and that's what they shouldn't be
Then-
granting.
This is where Pipkins came down, and this is the new lot.
Right.
That's- So it doesn't, it's not bordering that, it's not that little funky parking lot. I think this here represents a parking lot here. I mean, an open field.
Maybe I misinterpreted the front side variance. This, so I don't know why the ordinance is.
Well, when he gets there, it's.
And then there's this.
I'm gonna walk over there.
So any other business you wanna do in the meantime?
Make a field trip, what?
Any other business you wanna do?
Yeah, we can do minutes, I guess. The minutes were sent out electronically, which I read. And, does everyone read the minutes?
Yes.
Make a
Yeah.
motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
that's done. No other business. Can I talk about the cat we're getting, our kitten we're getting?
Sure. Record it, we're getting.
I know it's recorded.
We're getting a kitten.
Sunday. Deborah's
Yeah, Pumpkin was 16
What did
and
he say it was?
12 apparently.
He's on the way.
He's on his way
I
from
need to phone him.
Austerlitz.
Where he coming from? Austerlitz, did you say?
No.
Well, that's where he lives.
Oh.
Do you want me to call him?
Yeah, I mean,
Is that acceptable?
Hey, it's.
Well, it's
it's
travel.
late.
it's polite of us, that's for sure.
Huh?
It's polite of us.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to be here.
I mean, I'm ready to, I mean, I don't want him to walk in the door the minute we walk out the door, but
It's kind of cool that it might alleviate some of our parking issues.
it
The
might.
trouble is, people won't walk that far. Remember when they had the street torn up? Nobody would park up by the bank and walk.
You know, it's amazing.
It is,
It's amazing how people complain about parking on Main Street, but they'll go to the mall and park in a parking lot and walk 6 miles all over the mall and all the way across the
But I
parking
can
lot.
see where.
do you ever see anybody park up where the pizza place was? That part, everybody will be walking into the store saying they can't park, and nobody will walk that far.
Just made it. So the meeting's going, and we're talking about your property, and we have a bunch of questions. So pull up the seat. One was, this lot, this area here is still an open area, right? Tom Curran's house is next to that, right?
Matt Wood owns that little lot,
That little lot.
and then there's deeded egress
Right, and then after that, Tom's place is
right there,
to
and another spot. over there.
another spot, okay. So there's open area here from this lot to this lot, it's not encroaching that.
Right.
So what do you want to do?
Put in a parking lot. How's he live?
That building on the right is remaining?
Yes.
I was reading over Aaron's reason for denial, and I have to say it was confusing because there isn't really a structure on the, there's no structure here.
Well, I guess there is, that building on the right, it looks like.
It's all owned by the same person. So it doesn't matter.
This building as well, the building on the right? Well, it matters in that you're crossing over,
Or if you need permission from the guy who wants to do the parking lot to leave the building in place, then I'll get that for you. Because it's the same guy.
right, and we were talking about the idea of this being one parcel versus having a line, having two, you have one application and two tax maps, two tax numbers, right? They're separate. Is there any reason why they can't be one property and eliminate
Is there a reason
need for
it can't
variances?
stay the way it is?
Yes, actually.
What is it?
Because under the two things, when they,
If there's a variance that involves that line between them,
under the state law, one of the factors is, can you avoid getting a variance because the applicant has an alternative to achieve the same thing? So if you can eliminate the need to give a side yard variance by merging it, that would be the thing that the prefer to do. And secondly, they're supposed, by law, supposed to give the smallest variances required to achieve the objectives of the applicant. So basically, when the applicant has means at the applicant's disposal to resolve the problem without having to get a variance, that's really how it should be done.
Okay, and that's fine, I'm happy to do that, but then you're gonna ask me for another variance for the side yard of the building, correct?
well, the building doesn't really affect,
It's gonna be,
which building you're talking about? The one
the remaining structure on.
To all the way to the far right.
So that was already there.
Okay, but it's the side yard, does that offset concern the board?
If it's an existing building, there's no issue for
So the parking lot can go right up to the wall of that building, and that doesn't need a variance, but you need a variance if the parking lot's on two parcels.
Are you asking where the parking lot stops before that building? Like a green space in between the buildings?
Yeah. This right here.
That's not, this isn't even an issue.
So so how is that not an issue if that is?
Because this is the property line.
Okay, but, so
The
what you're,
building- The building exists,
it does.
so there's
And
no,
it's part of this parcel.
So what you want is this parcel to start here and come all the way to here.
yeah.
Yeah. That's it. And that would eliminate a lot of,
But if I divide it, I'm pretty sure he's gonna wanna do this. And then you're under your 10,000 square feet in the village, because you wanna be able to make this a saleable property and it's a parking lot. So
Well,
that would complicate.
But right now,
it's gonna
he
complicate
doesn't,
it.
right now, he's got that, and he's got half his parking lot already.
Yeah,
I understand.
that would complicate it no matter what if you wanted to sell this building because it's part of this parking lot.
Yeah, but you could just subdivide.
You can't cut this up.
Oh, you can, that's right. So that has to forever stay with that, is what you're saying. I mean, to me, the variance
Pretty
makes more
much, I
sense.
mean, if that's an undersized, that would be not too small a lot, but, you know, I
But
can't
it's
speak for it.
But it's an existing building.
It's an existing building, so the fact that it's close to the property line, it's already done, that's water under the bridge.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay,
to subdivide,
I just wanna make sure I'm getting it all right.
Yeah.
And we don't have another issue that comes up with variance. I've seen that before.
yeah, no. Well, it's a little unclear what, the application, not the application, but Aaron's submission is a little unclear exactly what it is. She gives the code, but not exactly what she's saying is a violation, but it does say,
She's talking about green space in front here.
so it says,
That code, if it's the correct one, reads really strange. Like
It does fit, I know it.
It's like, because they want, if it's a parking lot, there's supposed to be a distance from the road, right?
Yes.
Which makes 0 sense, because how are you gonna drive in and park?
I know.
Or like, why would it be?
Well, there's curb cuts here, but this area of green space is supposed to be, she says it's 15 feet.
Okay, well, it's 15 feet to the first parking
So
space.
that was
opposed to
probably-
it.
so anyway, it says, all off-street parking, outdoor parking, will be behind or to the side of the principal building. When we call that the principal building, it's to the side, so that's fine. And because the front comes out of the front, so there's nothing in front of it. Should also be at least 6 feet from the side of rear on the B's district, which is not, and then 10 feet in all other, so it's gotta be 10 feet from the side of rear lot lines.
Okay.
So, and this is where you're in the problem, it's supposed to be, so that's supposed to go closer to 10 feet from that line. And this one.
On either
that's supposed to
side.
go- So there's a
Okay.
20-foot strip in the middle, because they're two separate parcels, and not supposed to have parking on. So that's why merging it gets rid of that line, and then you can do right across the middle. For non-residential uses shall to the extent practicable be screened from public view. Well, that's a question of judgment and,
Yeah.
where.
I think for the area that we're talking about, I don't know about
Well,
the
especially-
others on the board, I'm not too concerned about that.
Well, I mean, you can think about different purposes for parking lots. I mean, if it's like an office building and your parking lot is off to behind the building or something, and you don't really want to bring it into the public view, and you can try and screen it. But this is like for people to come off of Main Street and park, so you don't probably, maybe you don't want to hide it the same way. So that is kind of within your judgment here. Is this something that should be screened or not screened?
Well, I don't know what's going on, how, when Pizza Den came down in that parking lot.
When we have a plan for that, I'll be here.
Yeah, okay.
It's just not,
It's just.
it's not.
It's just not.
But anyway, so there's the screening from public view. It sort of depends on the circumstances. Adjoining parking areas should be connected directly or to one another or to service road to reduce turning movements onto roads.
Yeah,
I
it's,
mean, it is
It's
connected.
one.
Yeah,
connected,
it is connected.
you know. Within the C1 and 2s and C1, right? A maximum of one row of parking may be located in front of the principal building, not relevant.
Mhm.
And this is such parking shall be set back from the front lot line by a landscape buffer at least 15 feet. I mean, it's not clear whether that's only referring to parking in front of the building.
yeah.
Like you
You're
have
talking-
an
referring to
office
the
building and you put in parking in front and they want to.
Yeah, it's
So
referring to a
this
building.
doesn't necessarily apply.
Yeah.
Well, because that's the, and that's what I was saying a minute ago.
That's what I was confused
Our
about.
parking lot is there to serve an office building
Right,
or
yeah.
a facility. The parking lot is kind of incidental, but it's really there for that thing, so you don't want to make it prominent.
Right, you want that to be in the
But
rear.
if the parking lot,
but
the whole
this is-
purpose of the parking lot is public parking out the street, you may look at it possibly somewhat differently.
I personally don't have a problem with what you want to do. I think it's fine. I just think that this, I think that this creates a problem that you can eliminate. And if that's eliminated, then,
I don't think you need any variances, unless this is within 10 feet of that side, which it might be. And that probably is. So you might need a variance along here.
and she doesn't even mention that.
But that's,
Well, she doesn't mention, she just.
but this is a roadway, which is deeded, which I've read from 1908, from both parcels, and that has to stay wide enough to get a horse and wagon.
Where does it go? I'm trying to get a bearing.
Well, I'm just saying. What, this here?
Yeah.
Well, that's
It used to
something-
go down to Mill
So
Street.
you're not going on that, but here's
But
the,
I think.
No, but as far as.
What makes that, I'm saying what I think makes that okay is this is like a 16-foot
oh,
space that's never gonna change.
yeah. You still need a variance.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, if that's within 10 feet of the side, but I mean, the variant, they look and say, well, this is not a problem because, but I mean,
Okay.
if it's
Okay.
within 10-foot thing, that it's supposed to be outside, if it's supposed to be more than at least 10 feet away, and it isn't, it needs a variance to be permitted.
So if I'm clocking this correctly, I can ask the owner if he would like to make this one parcel, and if we do, we still have to come back before this board about this line.
If it's not 10 feet.
If
That's
it's
right.
not 10 feet,
Not 10
which
feet.
it would not be.
Okay, well,
Technically, they show.
You have a
property
minimum
lines
of
in the
3
center.
feet,
So each person has the center. So we basically.
the survey shows it here.
Which this says 3'3",
Okay, well, then we need 6'9".
which is the other side of the road. But it's,
Yeah, and I don't think that would
No,
present
you're
a
supposed to
problem.
be this here, what's that?
Yeah.
That's, you're not, the 10 foot from that line is around here somewhere. You're not supposed to cross that. So.
no, that's what I'm saying, but I'm saying like we have another 8 or 10 feet this way.
It's not part of that parcel.
But in a way it is.
But on the
I
survey.
understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but that 12-foot space is never changing.
Didn't we go through this with the center of the road being?
Yeah, but you're dealing with a survey.
Right.
And that's what we go by. But it shouldn't be that hard to get a variance. But
No, I think.
No,
it will.
that's, I don't know, you know, the board needs to chime in too, but I don't think that this is gonna be a problem. I think if that issue got eliminated, then
Okay.
things are, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it really, I mean, the board would subject them, but when they go through things, it's my view that it would be well within their discretion to deny giving a variance
Yeah,
here,
because of that.
because they're not really supposed to give them unless there's no alternative. And there is an alternative, and
Yeah.
so
Okay.
that's really how this should be.
Okay.
In theory, they could give the variance, but, you know, they're supposed to go through these things, and so when there's a clear solution that the applicant has available.
When's the next meeting? I can have that done in 24 hours.
What, making it one parcel?
As long as he agrees that all we have to do, we have all the surveys, all I have to do is ask him to change it. It's all the same.
I mean, I think you could go ahead, I mean, you could go ahead and actually set a public hearing on it for next month, and with the understanding that basically not that they're really only doing this one, and that they're not,
Yeah.
they're not going.
Well, the paperwork would just have to be rewritten to say that that's the variance you're going for. So if you want it contingent on if this happening within a month,
I actually think that what he did, I think this is the property line, and he kept that 3'3" in, but the property line, like, no, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna-
well, the dotted line indicates a property line on the survey.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how the egress works.
Yeah,
I'll measure his distance and show it.
seems like he's off your property line 3
Right, and then the egress,
is up here.
it goes all the way to this little railroad tie wall. The description was hilarious. It said it had to be 2 oxen or something like that.
So we had an issue recently with the property down on Payne Avenue where there was an old road that was on the map. And that road, we went through paperwork and deeds and all of this old stuff, and basically it was but I don't think the idea of the road never was surrendered technically.
Well, I did research of that. I
Remember
talked
that?
to I don't think I ever addressed that with this board, but I did with the village board. And what it came down to there, under the law, when a subdivision map is filed with the county with a road like that on it, there's old law that treats that as an implied offering to the village
Right, that's what
for the dedication. And it is like an open offer
Right.
to the village, so.
And
back
the
in
village never said, we don't want
They
it.
never said yes, they never said no. But so since 1924, it's essentially been an open offering to the village
To
as a
put a road there.
dedication for that road.
So
And
this
there are
road
ways to
is-
revoke it.
Well, my property on Hudson Avenue, I own Moore Avenue. Survey goes right across to the next yard, and I own all of Moore Avenue to the rest of spot. It was just, it was a horse trail, and then it was like, a wagon trail, and it was, so like,
Yeah,
it just,
yeah, yeah.
the village just took it, but the village has no services in it. So my sewer has to go all the way to Hudson Ave, and the water has to go all the way to Hudson Ave, and the village is not allowed to be in the road.
There's no mechanicals under the memorial?
Well, see, that's the village, what the village has is the right to passage over the surface. But you own, like if there were
Yeah,
a
it's
gold
like
mine under there, you
Taxation
don't own
without
that.
representation.
But also,
They get more
but also there are things that come up, there are things that come up like that, like if the utility had to get an easement to put, run some lines under there, they need an easement from you, because you own the land. The village only essentially they have the right of way over the surface and the constructed road, the definite road, but once you get below the surface, it's still the landowner's property. So anybody who wants to put a culvert or any, or utility or anything in subsurface, they gotta go through the property owner.
why would that not apply to this roadway that's not really a roadway there? In that case, he must own halfway across that, you know?
He might, but we have a survey, it may be a separate parcel too, because that's not a public
It's not-
road.
Well, it's Pitkins, the bottom of Pitkins was the first DPW. So they parked plow trucks and dump trucks in the bottom, and they used to drive down there to access it, and so they're behind it.
I mean, it's possible, all we have is what we have. I'm just saying, it's like, there could be other deed stuff.
Where is this space being created? How is that being, as a storage behind?
It's already, that's the space I was talking about. If you drive down here, you would have pulled it in, and it was wide open underneath
So,
Pickens.
oh, okay, so
So
I
now,
don't.
so right now, if you were to walk from River Street this way, you would fall off a 16-foot drop right there.
There's nothing there now, it was demoed when the building, oh, okay. fine. When I was looking at that, I was thinking, oh, that's old Jim Baker's place, because that's what, and I said, well, not even on the right street. All right, so we're gonna,
So I come back to this next meeting.
well, we're gonna make a motion, we're gonna set a public hearing, because we can, if you can get all that to us 10 days before the meeting, then,
I'm sorry, if it's two different map, the application as stands now has two
That's not.
tax map numbers. If they merge that property, it's gonna be one tax map number. Would that be a different application?
Well, I have to change the application anyway.
So,
I think I would treat this kind of technicality that we can straighten out.
what are you asking, Stan?
sorry, the application has two tax maps on it now. If they merge that property, that will be one tax map number. I'm wondering if that will require another application since it's technically not the same application any longer.
I don't
But
think you need to do that. I think you could just amend the tax number or something.
Whichever one it becomes.
Yeah, whichever, I think we had, on my property on Jones Avenue was one property to the house of the right, and it still shows, I don't even think it shows two different, I forget what I just said, because there's a confusion over there, it's like how they do that, they might keep the same tax numbers, just make it one parcel, so you'd have two separate tax numbers. I think it showed up down on Payne Avenue too, when that was, anyway. See if you can get that to be one parcel. We'll shoot to have a public hearing next month. And then we'll have Aaron's gonna need to rewrite that,
The explanation.
the variance, or rewrite that application, right, or?
The denial reason?
Yeah,
What
how
he
does that work?
sees.
We have to like,
I don't
We
know
need
that
to, like,
you
get
really-
it.
I think what, you're basically, right now, the way I see it, there are three variances that would be required. One is the side next to that lane
yeah,
that Aaron's talking about. Then there is the parcel that is on the left, encroaching on its right side,
of the center one,
the center line, so that one, and then there's the parcel on the right,
the other side.
encroaching on this. So there are three variances being requested. And the way they're probably gonna be dispensed, you're gonna act on the one against the, over on the left against the lane.
Right, we're gonna eliminate the one.
And the other two are gonna be just stricken from the application. Well, they're not actually, it's still an open
Yeah.
request,
Yeah,
but they're gonna come back and say, we're gonna get rid of that middle line, so there's no need for these anymore. If they don't do that, then they're still asking for a variance, which you would be completely justified to just deny, because they have a way of fixing it. So that's really the way to get it done. I mean, they could come back and say that they're not gonna split it, and they're just gonna ask you for a variance, and then it would be, you could grant it, but there's a lot of
Okay,
reasons
I
why
get
you
it.
shouldn't. And
do you get it? Okay.
so it's still an open application for the three things.
Yeah.
But the idea is, two of them are gonna be resolved by merging it, and then there's just the one left that they still need you to give them.
So that the date he has to have this to you is
November 10th.
10 days before.
The 10th is a Sunday, so the 11th, the meeting's on the 21st. But you'll hear from Aaron before that with the notice that would have to go to abutting properties.
Is it
You have to
all the
say-
surrounding? Okay.
Wait, isn't up the 11th Veterans Day?
I'll
It
shoot,
is.
shoot for the 8th.
All right, thanks.
you.
Yeah, actually, Aaron, it should be in the 8th
That's Friday.
because it's a public hearing, it really needs to be 10 full days ahead. So if there's holidays, you should have it in by the weekend, so it's, wait, the meeting's on Monday?
No,
Let's see.
Thursday, the
Thursday.
21st.
Oh, no, it would be the 15th.
15th is the,
No, 10 days, right, okay, sorry.
15th is the meeting. What's the third Thursday of November?
21st. So 10 days before that would be the 11th, but that's a holiday, so we'll
That would be,
make it
Monday.
the 8th.
Yeah, 8th.
Good,
Okay,
got it. Thank you.
yeah.
Bye.
Okay.
All right, so. What do I do now?
Nothing to do.
We're wrapped up, right?
Yeah.
We just make a motion to close the meeting. Second.
Second.
Is everyone in favor of that? Thank you.